Everyone, good afternoon. Can y'all hear me? Hi. Nicholas, if you want to go ahead and enter the stage, you can. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hello, Matt.
It is working. Awesome.
Yay, it works. Sweet. So while we're waiting to get started, first of all, thanks for joining us today. If you look down at the bottom, you can see share materials and your presentation is there. And that way you can kind of control when you change slides and whatnot.
So I'm just, you want me to start pressing the button now?
Just in like 5 minutes. I just wanted you to know where it was. Yeah, I'll cue you when you can go ahead and get started. Yeah. We want to see your face.
Hi, everyone.
So I will intro us in just a minute, and we're already recording. Just for your knowledge, we'll cut this part out. But we are recording for those of you who are new to these. So if as soon as people are joining, I would love if y'all can fill out the poll about where you're located. And if you're not a member of ours, you can let us know that as well. The poll is live. And then if y'all want to just also throw in the chat box, you're welcome to let us know what city you're logged in from. Hey, Quinn. We've got Seattle in the house. So we've got as far east and west coast as you can get at this point, which is very exciting. So just so you know, Nicholas and anyone else who's joining right now, we have people usually hop on throughout the call. Sometimes people will hop off early, so you may see people come and go. Also, we'll leave some time at the end for questions. And again, I'll just be putting in chats and polls throughout the call as well, just to kind of get y'all to engage with us. We want this to be a fun collaborative event. The other thing also, Nicholas, is some of our locations are streaming from the conference rooms. And so it may be that there's like 5 people in one room, and then we'll, if they want to speak, we'll obviously allow them to unmute, and we'll have the person who's helping moderate manage that. So just some background for you, so you know kind of who's on the call. Yeah, so a couple of announcements for our current Saltbox members. We love watching all of y'all's success unfold. We really want to invite you to share your wins and accomplishments with us. So best way to do that is going to be by filling out the form that's like your success, like what is it called, the member success form, and I'll go ahead and share it now. And then also it'll be shared in Slack, and it'll be circulated through email. But y'all are also allowed to feel free to also just let your comm know. Check out the holiday gift guide if you haven't already. It's in the latest newsletter, and we'll be doing more of these. So if you'd like to participate, just keep your eye out for the request form for that. Also, make sure you're communicating all your holiday plans to your location staff. We're here to help and want to make sure we set you up for success. And if you have any general questions, you can email support@saltbox.com. So excited to have Nicholas join us today. Nicholas is based in Atlanta, and his live commerce company, formerly called Streamify until today when they announced their name change to eStreamly. Nicholas is going to give us an overview on why you should try live commerce if you haven't already, and also go into details on the event we'll be hosting at Saltbox on December 7th. Nicholas, I would love, before your presentation, if you could start by telling us a little bit about you, your company, and why you started eStreamly.
Yeah. Well,
and thank you.
Thank you for taking the time. I'm super excited to be here today. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas. As you can hear from my accent, I'm not from Alabama. I'm originally from France. I have a very strong French accent. I'm coming from a family of entrepreneurs, and I grew up selling on farmers market, and that one-on-one engagement and that one-to-many engagement is always something that I thought was very powerful. And so, you know, I had a career where I was always selling things on the D2C and then B2B and so on. And I always felt that the e-commerce is such a very difficult environment because how do you have so much space to kind of explain your story, your product, and everything. And so through my journey, I met with Smita Komaredi, which is my co-founder. She's also in Atlanta. And we tried for 3 years trying to find a way to bring people at the center of commerce. And having this ability to kind of share your story, share your passion, share your why makes for a lot of difference. And we found that live stream is a very exciting tool to do that. And so we decided back in December to quit our jobs and just focus on that for the next future. And so here we are with Join Streamify. And I'm actually eStreamly, so I'm pretty excited about that. So let me see if I can put the presentation on. So you can see the presentation, right? Yep.
Yeah, we can see it. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave the stage so you won't see my face and I can't speak, but we'll be popping in if people need questions.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I really wanted to kind of take this opportunity to kind of give you a reason why live stream is so important in my point of view. And, you know, the way I'd love for you to think about with live stream and live stream shopping is about engaging, growing your sale, and kind of also measuring your ROI right now. There are multiple of other reasons why live stream is so exciting, but I think those really 3 reasons are very compelling, and we're going to see why through the time of that. And so really hoping that after this session, you will be thinking about, hey, I need to create my own video and live stream shop, or if you don't have one, and if you have one, it's like, okay, how do I elevate it to the next level? So with that first say, you know, I wanted to start with a couple numbers, and the one that's, you know, the first one that strikes me is the online consumption of video. I don't know if you know, but 80% of the internet consumption today is through video. When I say internet consumption, I mean really like what people doing online. They're consuming videos 80% of the time. So a typical picture or a text, a website only text-based picture will get like maybe a minute and a half engagement. When you have a lot of videos, you're moving toward like 8 minutes, 9 minutes engagement on your website. So think about the impact that video could have on your own e-com. And if you don't have today video as one of the main feature on your website, on your e-com, in some way you're kind of missing out on 80% of what people are doing. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's very important. The other thing that I think is really interesting is 45% of North American don't use ad blocker. I personally use ad blocker. So through the day, I'm spending my day on my computer and I will not see pretty much any ad. You know, there's like plenty of service from DuckDuckGo, Brave Brother, and everything that really remove all those ads. So how do you reach your customer if you can't even use ad as a way to do that? Obviously, that's the reason why social media is so popular. And the working with influencer is really something that is super important. And then I think the next big stats that I love to think about is the conversion rate of the traditional e-com, 3%. That's the average in the US. Actually, folks that have 3% should be pretty happy because I've seen companies that have a 1.5% conversion rate. So it's very difficult. In other words, for every 100 person that are going to your website, only 3 of them are going to make a sale. And maybe if you are native from the e-com, that may not shock you, but like people that are used to sell retail, they are completely astonished by that number, because when you think about a physical retail store, like an apparel is the one that has the poorest conversion rate, is 18%. The specialty stores will have 30% and department store have 50%, meaning that for every 2 people entering a department store, one of them is going to leave and have something that they bought. So I want you to think about that, because obviously that's very important, and that's the reason why a lot of people are still using retail as the main way, because conversion online is still lacking. So why e-commerce? Well, e-commerce is kind of the bridge between the physical and the digital in a way of conversion. What we're seeing in the conversion rate in average in the US is you get an 18% conversion rate. And as a matter of fact, 18%, the US market is very new to live commerce and live stream commerce, live stream shopping. There's a different way of people calling that. But it started in 2015 in China. And in a matter of, 5 years, it today represents 15% of the total e-com in China. So think about that, like 5 years ago, no one was talking about this, got introduced, now it's 15% of the total e-com. And I believe in the fond of my heart that the live commerce is going to do the same for the US market. We are right at the moment where it's nascent. As a matter of fact, Forbes was publishing an article at the beginning of the year where they were saying that by the end of the year, the market will represent more or less $6 billion of revenue for the US with live stream. At the mid of the year, they kind of revised that number, saying actually it's probably going to be 9 because of the pace of growth it was going. And by 2023, the estimate that CoreSite Research is doing is saying that there's probably going to be a $25 billion market live stream. So it's growing. It's going to get there, and it's going to take the market by storm. And if you don't do live stream today, I bet you in a year and a half, you will do live stream. That's how I feel about this. The other thing that when we think about conversion rate, I want you to kind of think about 18% as a plateau kind of thing. Because in China, where there's been 5 years of doing this, they have used a lot of different techniques and different type of influencer, what they call the KOL, which is the key opinion leader, and some different tools and so forth. And they're able to reach 50 to 65% conversion rate. Think about that. Like every 2 people watching the live actually turn to sales. It's pretty amazing. In Europe, they're a little bit more in advance compared to the US on that side, and they have an average conversion rate of 30 to 35. So all I'm saying is that 18%, there's a lot of opportunity to grow to make that even better. And really, I hope through that presentation, you will have some idea about what you can do if you do live, on what you can do for your own live, or if you don't do live, where you can start. I'm hoping that will get there. So who is it for, the live stream? So, again, if you look at more mature market like China, they pretty much sell everything through live stream commerce. I think I was reading an article the other day where they were trying to, there was this guy who was selling like real estate directly through live stream commerce. And obviously, with the Evergrande, I guess it may be a whole different ballgame now. But what I think in the US, I don't think we are there yet. I think it's very suitable for a product that require education. So if you have a product that requires education, if you have to explain your product, why is it different? Why you and not someone else? Why? If you have a big why, I think that's where live commerce will be a great platform, because people will have the time and they will the willingness to listen, to hear, to ask questions. That is very interesting. And I have this graph that I really like. This is a graph that has been done over 4,000 people in the US. It's a very well documented graph. It was done just before COVID. They have not published a new one yet, but it's like with the industry, how many are people buying online or physical, and then where are people searching? Is it online or physical? And so based on your industry, I invite you to look at that graph and try to find like where you are. Like for instance, if you're on the cosmetic and beauty care, a lot of people are watching online to try to understand, but they still go to the store to buy the product. And why is that? Well, because they still want to have that one-on-one engagement with a human. that are going to tell them, that are going to respond their questions, or they want to see how that mascara or that product do on their skin, or do on the skin that is relatively similar to them. And so those are things that you can't really have through picture, because most of the Instagram picture, let's face it, they're all Photoshop for the most part. They all look beautiful and everything, but it's not the real thing. It's not the raw images. And people want to understand how it really does. And I think there's nothing better than live stream and having that engagement and asking the questions that are relevant to you to do that. And so that's why we see cosmetic as a big opportunity. As a matter of fact, from our data, where we're seeing the number one is clothing. People love to shop live stream for clothing because they can understand, they can see the feed, they can see if that the person that are actually wearing the clothes will kind of look like her or him or whatever. Then the second is beauty, and then is wellness for the third. We see after that there was the fourth one is the food space. So how do you create successful live? Very often we get that question, and I think it really become to be somehow take the YouTube playbook and kind of apply to what the live stream will be. And the first thing, first to come first is like write compelling title and thumbnail. I mean, there's nothing more important than that. Like I think it was like someone that was a friend of mine that was at a YouTube conference and was telling me that YouTube had did this big research where they had a bunch of video being watched by audiences. One had good thumbnail and one had no thumbnail at all. And then the difference was like almost a tenfold between someone that has a good thumbnail and someone that don't have. And just people wants to kind of like on one picture kind of understand what this is about. Is the quality going to be okay? Is the content going to be okay? Am I going to have fun by watching that video? And I think so that thumbnail is so important, and the title also is very important. The next big thing is, I think, is you want to be authentic and genuine. You don't want to. Live stream is all about you. It's all about that raw images, that non-produced content in some way. It's about like just being yourself, and so that's what people want. We see that they want to know about, like, if you have your dog coming on. Obviously, it's on the video. After a period of time, it's going to be bothering, but if it's from the time you will have people engaging with you and they want to know their story about that. And so there's a lot of things about like being genuine, be authentic. Obviously, you want to stay professional as much as you can, but just be yourself on those videos. The next big thing is promote your stream. So it's like any social following. When you build your following, if you just post and do nothing, even if you have the best content on earth, it's going to be very, very hard for someone to recognize you're here. And so you want to have somewhat a strategy around the promotion of your stream. Either use some influencer that can leverage. You can leverage some of their audience, so their audience gets exposed to you, or you use pay content or things like that to kind of say, hey guys, I'm here, I'm doing this content on a regular basis, check it out. And then naturally your audience is going to grow. Another things to make successful live, make it exclusive. And I can't stress that enough. If every day you go live and you talk about the same product over and over, and there's really no sense of exclusivity. Yes, they know about you, they understand your product and everything, but at some point, people want to have something that will belong to that event specifically, because otherwise what's going to happen is that you're going to say, hey, I'm going live, and then they will see that you go live, say, oh, but it's the same thing as it was yesterday and the day before and the day after and the day tomorrow. So I'm just going to wait tomorrow to watch it. But if you have something that makes it exclusive for that event, and, actually, I want to see that. Maybe you have a guest coming, or maybe for that specific moment, you have a special discount, or maybe you're offering a special card, or you have a giveaway for that special. And so people will say, hey, I have to go on this one because there's this going on. And then tomorrow, maybe something else going on, but they also want to go on this one. So that's really another important thing. Make it exclusive. And then the last one is don't give up. I think that's what we're seeing. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge with live stream is people will go live 1, 2, 3 times, so I don't get much result, traffic, audience, and then they give up. I was on a big conference about live stream commerce, and I don't remember if it was Nike or if it was like that, but it was a big brand, big money and everything, and they were saying like, you want to start with actually the first sales they were saying is like, if we have $5,000 first is great. Maybe the second one we get 15, 20 grand. And then the third one we get 30, 35. Then after you go on and then you get a little over that until, so it's really growing progressively, and it takes a long time to actually build your audience and do something like that. So, and I see you on, so you want to ask me to stop, right?
Yes, I am interrupting you. I'm sorry. Question for you from Kimbria. She's wondering, do you feel like doing lives for luxury fashion brands are as effective as other fashion brands?
So it's really awesome questions for the luxury side. I think that depend on where are you on the luxury. If it's luxury, like almost like made for one person, like what we're seeing, like the ultra personalized events, I think the one-to-many might not be the best format for you. It may be the 101, right? And what we're seeing is like when you starting having that highly customized events or the highly customized item, you want to have like that one-on-one interaction. And as a matter of fact, like some of the biggest brands, the Chanel, the Guerlain, and so forth, what they're doing is they don't do live stream. They do FaceTime. They do FaceTime shopping. And so because they have that one-on-one. So if you are on that kind of level, the one-on-one, because that person wants to feel very special. They want to have that special attention. Now, if you, I will say like a level a little below that, and you feel that your product is not meant to be bought by 1 or 2 person or 5 person altogether, but maybe by 100, 20, maybe 200 customer, 500 customer, the same SKU, then live stream is certainly a place where I would encourage you to go and create that experience. Like again, I think it's a really interesting that way. I hope I understand. I answered the question properly there. Okay. Why should I host? So on that, should I host? I always say a good host is nice. A great host will sell. And choosing the right host can change the event from nice to awesome. And I will say, like, I go live, I can make a pretty decent thing. It could be fun, but my sales might not be. And that's really interesting, right? Now, if you have an influencer that know to do live stream shopping and know how to engage audience and have that way of doing it, you can make a pretty awesome live event for that. Sorry for that. So the next one is choosing the right platform.
Can you hear me? I had one more. I had kind of a follow-up question to Kimbria's question, and also how to do it basically. So if we have members here who are new to live and haven't done them before, I've gotten feedback from people here, like all across the board, for the time length that they think is ideal. Can you give and maybe you'll touch on this later in the presentation, but can you talk through like what you recommend for someone who's brand new, like, and how you should showcase a product if you've never done it before?
Yeah. So it's awesome question. So the time length. So the time length is a big internal debate that we have internally and talking with the content creator we work with and so forth. And but the data show the same thing. The data show that we are all people, and like at any time that you send an invite to someone and say, hey, come on at 5, we're going to have live, people will never show up at 5. They will show up at 5:10, 5:15, 5:20. So if you do an event that is too short, you're missing out on a bunch of people that are going to come to your event, but they are going to come over time. Now, what I will say that when people tune in, they tune in for an average of 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. That's what we're seeing. So what you don't want to be repetitive, because obviously you will see people coming and watching the whole thing because they're a big fan of you. They love what you do. They love your brand, and they just want to be there and like, oh my God, I will never ever leave any live. But you have also the one that come and show up, get some thought and say, wow, that's pretty cool, and let me engage, ask question, and then I buy and I move on and do something else. And so what we're saying is that initially we had most folks doing a 30 minutes. Right now, what we're seeing is that people are trying the 45-minute format. We also have seen folks doing 7 hours, and I think that's a purely waste of time. But that's basically, they put their phone next to their computer, and then they work at the same time they try to sell. I mean, this is really boring, and so that I won't recommend that. And so that's another one that I will say.
And then one more question from Matt. Should the focus be on shopping or should the focus be your product in motion with selling as the secondary focus?
So should the focus be on the shopping, or the focus on your product in motion? Meaning like we're selling. Okay. So one is, do I speak about like I'm trying to sell you something? It's being very salesy, and the other one is like, hey, I'm showing this product. So I think the reality is like,
I'm going to invite Matt onto the screen if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
No pressure if you're not interested, but I think it might help for you to maybe explain a little more, because he had a follow-up question about board games.
Oh, I see. If you sell board games, should people think? Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. Is he coming? Yeah, I guess.
All
right.
Let's see.
So there you go.
There he is. And then you just have to hit unmute. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Matt.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thank you. So we're actually a 3D printing company. We sell primarily like models and miniatures for use in miniature painting or tabletop role-playing games. So I guess my real question is the focus on here's our products, here's why you should buy them, or are you doing something where it's the product in motion? You're painting the product, and as you're painting the product, you're sort of, emphasizing why it's worth buying. Kind of a little bit of a different focus. Just sort of curious what you've seen works.
I see. I love the questions. So I think the way you want to go when you go live, and you want to be regular about going live, because if you remember, I was saying like, just keep doing it. You want to have, I won't say like a content schedule.
Awesome.
When I talk with, we work a lot with a couple content creator. It's like you want to have an idea about, making your live interesting and also like on that content standpoint. So I think you want to have a mix of different things. Like sometime you do about like pitching about this product, or maybe sometime you do like, hey guys, we're going to do this. Maybe you want to personalize it. Maybe you want to show how your product behave into his own conditions. You want to try to find like different thing. You want to have a guest coming. So to make your content like not something completely linear. So my encouragement to you is really try a little bit of everything. Make the content a little bit, vary your content, and you will get the most return. I see the most is people just showing the product, and that tends to work very well. Now you have the QVC model where it's all about like, oh, and look at what it does, and and like it's a lot of movement, and like be smiley and all those things, and like you don't know what they talk about, you just know it's fun, and maybe I should get that, right? That's the other way of selling. But if you're not this kind of guy, my recommendation to you is just like show your product, like how it does, and tell your story about it, and all that. Yeah, you're welcome. So the next thing is choose the right platform. Not all platform will suit your needs. And I think that's important to recognize. As much as I would love to have the whole planet using our platform, we know that we are not the platform that maybe you need. And so I want to be cognizant of that. So obviously, Facebook and Instagram are free tools. You can go live tomorrow if you wanted to, or even today. But the problem with those platforms is they are not built for scaled events. So if you have like a following that is decent, you can go live and maybe you will drop a code or like the link of your website and people will shop. But what we're seeing is that people generally start with Facebook and Instagram because it's easy, it's cheap, and it's free. But then they start to realize that they have a lot of messages. People are confused about what product you were talking, and they couldn't find the product. And then you've got troll on the chat. And then you've got all those things that makes the whole interaction like leaving some sort of bitter taste. And so I mean, you have people that are really great at doing it and are able to manage that, but it's not a super easy tool and it's not meant for that. So that's a challenge. So then the other tool is you've got Amazon. Amazon, awesome audience. I mean, it's a very large audience. But what we're seeing actually is that they don't get a very good conversion rate. And it's also a super expensive tool. I mean, you have to spend $35,000 in ad to be eligible to go on the live stream shopping. So you have to already spend a bunch of money on the ad to be just eligible. And then from there, there's a bunch of other things that they will ask you to do. So it's not for everyone. The whole thing also with Amazon, and no one really disclosed that. And we really find out by talking with influencers that have been selling on Amazon Live is Amazon is pushing about it. But the problem that they have is that the audience that are watching those things is 40 to 60 years old. So if you're targeting the Gen Z or the early millennials, then it's not for you, because who is going to watch is elderly folks. Now, if your audience is more on the elderly side, I mean, I'm on the 40 side, so I'm not considering myself old, but you know what I meant, maybe a little older, then Amazon may be a great opportunity for you. What's not is an interesting one. They have an app. It's not a web app like Join Streamify is, so you have to download something, but they have that community focus. It's a very, very community focused, very game. And maybe Matt, actually, you may want to check this out. Unfortunately, I hate that, but actually that might be a great tool for you. It's very game oriented. They have a great auction feature, and they're doing pretty well. Now, the next one is TikTok. TikTok, you probably have heard about it, is awesome for video. Like I feel I'm terrible on video, but every time I do a TikTok video, I feel like, dude, I'm the best the videographer ever. And I think that's what TikTok does to everyone, right? It takes your video from being mediocre to a video where it's like, whoa, I made something pretty cool. Obviously, people that know how to play those filters can make that video like to the moon and everything. On the downside, TikTok now integrates with Shopify, but you only can sell one or two products through the live. So, it's not as easy, basically, to, if you have a big portfolio, to do that. And then on top of that, you have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok to start selling through TikTok. So you have that threshold as well to achieve. Now, I will say that TikTok, the reason why TikTok is free and they have all those features is they're not making their money with ad. That's not their business model. They're making with live commerce. And, in China, that's the #1 app for that. So they came to the US with the only intention is to take this market and be the #1. And they will probably, most likely, I think. So that's a great platform if your audience is more like Gen Z and you want to tackle that, but your limitation will be just one SKU. And by the way, we are for Join Streamify, if you're a TikTok influencer or if you have the access to the live, we are looking for someone that is willing to do an experience with us. We want to be able to plug our platform to TikTok because we think we can do it. And so if you're there, chat with me. I'd love to do a trial with you and see if we can do a live for fun, for trial. I'd love that. And then Bamboozer.
Okay. After Bamboozer, can you talk about YouTube lives?
Yeah. Awesome. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah, Cambria attended the Chanel's fashion show via YouTube, and she said it was great. And then we have a follow-up question about using paid ads. So if we could touch on YouTube first, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So Bamboozer is a really awesome tool if you want to have like the best branded experience ever, right? So Bamboozer is like a SaaS model. but it's a very expensive solution, right? I think like you have to spend $1,000 with them to get the basic per month, and you know that's you mean that you have to build your website, you have to build everything around that. So it's really like more the channel and those big brands. That's what they will probably be using. It's not really accessible to everyone, but super customizable. Like you can have all of this fancy stuff and everything. And the live only will happen on your own e-com. Now, what about YouTube? So YouTube is another interesting one. YouTube, obviously, if you're a YouTube influencer, or if you have a good following on YouTube, it's another way to kind of sell. The challenge with YouTube is like, first of all, only a very small selected brand will be able to sell on YouTube. So the likelihood that you're part of those ones is unfortunately very low. And because they only like do some very unique partnerships. So YouTube recently said that they were trying to get into it, but the challenge is that they're competing against like some other things that they're doing. So YouTube is actually what we do with YouTube is like we use YouTube as a way to showcase your life. So on what we do with Streamify is like you do your live on our platform, on your website, and then we restream that event to YouTube and Facebook, and then we're hoping to be able to do it to TikTok as well. So we use that as the front, saying, hey, this is going on live. If you want to engage, click on this, and then come to that platform to engage. And that's where I wanted to get you next about how we operate, and then I'll go to the question about the paid ad. So what Streamify is doing is like we want to be the place where you can go live and distribute your live to as many places as possible. So obviously we're a startup, and at the moment, we have a lot of vision, and but still, we have done a pretty good job so far. So we can publish your video directly on your website. Our app, I mean, it's not an app; it's a web app. It's designed for mobile, so it's like a Zoom. You click and you get to the live. There's no friction related to I need to register, or I need to find this, or I need to do that. Because one of the things you will see if you start the YouTube or the Facebook or the Instagram, it's not always easy to find the live itself. And I don't know if you experienced that, but sometimes it's tricky. And with TikTok, it's even worse. So now people can actually get the live. The other thing with those platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and so things, like the challenge you're having with doing live through that is that you kind of spending a lot of effort and time and energy building your followings. And then when you go live, only a small segments will know and will be having the live push to them, right? I'm sure you know that, right? So I think it's something like less than 2% of the followers, these 2 to 10%, depending on the number of followers you have, that will actually see your content. So you're spending all that energy, and a small fraction of those people will actually see your content. So that's why a lot of people are saying you have to build your email list, So what we do with Streamify is like we actually, when you go live, that's your data, right? You know who went live, you know who engaged with you, you can retarget them afterward, all that. And that's I think what's very valuable from our standpoint. And then the ability to restream over those places so people can see your live, they can see the link, they can click and then start engaging with you. Our platform, we also are the only one that will take the payments. So all those platforms you've seen before, none of them are taking payments. So they are repushing the product to your cart, which you will say, oh, it's great, because I want to have custody of my customer and everything. And a lot of people are thinking that payment is so important. But I would argue that the challenge with doing that is that you're adding more friction to your sales, because now everyone has a different cart. Everyone has a different way of purchasing and so thing. And so with having the payment directly on the live, like we do, people have 4 clicks and they will know from every time they come back that the payment is going to be the same. It's not going to change because they watch Jennifer or Nicolas or Mary or whatever. It's going to be the same. And so it's a very streamlined payment process. Right now, we take Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, Afterpay. We enable product subscription, and we're hoping to develop even more tools down the line. And so I think And interestingly, in China, all the apps that have been extremely successful were the ones taking payment, and that's one of the route we take. And then finally, what we do slightly different from the other is that the live is still shoppable. So when the recording, the recording is shoppable. So when the live is over, the content doesn't disappear, or it doesn't get showed anymore. It's still live there, and you can still shop that recording. So actually, as a matter of fact, we have people that don't go live. They just use the feature of, hey, I'm going to take that video, I'm overlaying some product, and I'm going to do SEO on it and add, and then people will just see the video and start being able to buy from that video. And what they do is they create review from product A, from product B, things like that. So those are other ideas for you to consider. Now, using paid promotion to promote a live. What do you feel about that? So, what will be awesome, and Facebook doesn't allow you to do that, is like when you go live, that Facebook recognize that it's live, and then they let you pay to promote that live. Because paying for saying, hey, we'll be live on Tuesday, the return on that is very terrible. I mean, it's terrible. Now, if you say, I will be live on Tuesday and I have a very unique offer for that day, like a special discount or something that makes it really exciting for shoppers, then having a pay that will help you getting more registered for sure. As a matter of fact, what we do on our side is that with the registration, we encourage our merchant to kind of give a small thing for people that pre-register. And we have like a place where people can drop their cell phone, and then we will send them a text 5 minutes before the live, so people can just click on that and boom, get on the live and get the discount or that sample that you offered them or something. Because what we're seeing is that obviously you want people that say, oh, I'm interested to come for the event. And just to finish up on this, because I think it's interesting. When you think live and when you think about live shopping, please be mindful of the recording piece of it. 60% of the sales in the US happen on the recording. So 40% happen on the live, 60% happen on the recording. It's funny because I was talking to that person and she was saying in China it's completely different. I don't know exactly the reason why, but it sounds like in the US people enjoy watching and they will buy it right at the end. And so they will come back after we watch the video again. I don't quite know exactly why is that. We haven't done research on that side, but it's an interesting fact to know. So you want to be able to keep your recording in a place where you can actually repurpose it and continue selling. All right. Very quick about us. So obviously increase the conversion rate to 18%. We do a very easy integration with WooCommerce, Square, Shopify. We're working on some more integration. Again, own your data, moderate your chat, no need to manage payments, embedded site, publish on Facebook and YouTube. And also you can ask us, like if you need an influencer, like if you kind of, I won't say shy, but like if you don't know about like doing it yourself and you want us to guide you with fraud professional, we can do that. And we have a fairly low introductory fee, which is 5% plus 95 cents. And that include the payment transaction. So really, honestly, it's pretty cool. That does not include the embedded player, which is on a subscription for a little fee there. So that's my last slide, and I really want to make sure that you realize the awesome opportunity that Saltbox is offering you, because basically by having this event, what they are saying is that like, hey, let's create a place where we all get together and then we do that event, and we all benefit from the network effect. And when I say network effect is that each and every one of you that will sign up, you will get your link, and then you will push that event saying, Saltbox Live will be on that day. And then now all of a sudden, maybe your shopper, your own personal audience may not show up at your specific event, but they will show up during the day. Because what we're seeing is like for every 1,000 email, about 200 people will show up within a 48-hour time frame. So people will show up. And if they don't show up for yours, maybe they show up for the next one or the one before. But the other, it will apply the same for the other one. So altogether, you will get a bigger audience coming to watch all those things. Like if it's like people going to a mall, because there's all those brands going on, all those things. So I think it's a really awesome opportunity to have that network effect. And you can do that with your friend. You can see how it works. I hope you will all, a lot of you will sign up, because I think it could be really fun. And I think that's it for me, right?
Yeah, thank you. Hi. I wanted
I hope
to,
I was not too boring.
No, awesome. I actually learned a good bit. So, and I want to just add a few things about the Saltbox live event. So essentially anyone from any location is welcome to join. I just put in a link for the onboarding form if you want to participate, but also you can just, you can email me or you can email support@saltbox.com. But what we were thinking for that event, it's going to be December the 7th. And each individual company will have their own time slot. And that's, kind of what Nicolas just explained. Earlier, Bree asked a question that I think is related, and I would love if you could talk to that. She was asking if multiple brands could host a live together and cross market and grow the audience. And do they all have to be in the same location? And so I think different than having like what we're planning to do is like 10 brands, with a 30-minute time slot for each, and you promote that, and then we promote that as Saltbox and all this stuff. I think she's asking if you could have multiple brands together in a live.
Yeah. So it's everything is doable to a certain extent. The only problem with doing that is for order custody and everything. Right now, it's like one Shopify, one Square tied to one account, right? So if we do like a multi-brand event, that means that we will have to do all the onboarding manually, like through spreadsheet. Yeah. And then we'll have to redispatch everything. It's doable. It's just a lot of work for us. Now, what we are doing in January is like dual hosting. In January, we will have dual hosting. And so what you could do is like, okay, your friend can go live the first half hour, and she can have like this dual hosting thing where you have a live just for her, but you have like a merge live, and then you do the other half hour or just 50 minutes each. And so, but you are centrally at the same place. So that's something that we are working on, the dual hosting. But again, I think there are ways to do that. It's not super always easy. As a matter of fact, if you are on the beauty, on the Black Beauty, we are hosting an event with Asunda. She has over 100,000 followers on YouTube.
How do you spell it?
Asunda. Her name is, she's an influencer. Let me make sure. It's Asunda Wilson.
I was just going to share her.
So it's Assunda. And she has over a little less than 100,000 followers. And for Black Friday, she's going to do a live with us. We'll do it will be the first time we do a live with her. So it's an awesome opportunity because we are very low on fees just to as a tryout. We already have brands signing up for that. So it will be to feature 2 or 3 product max. Send the sample to her. She will review the sample in front of her own audience and sell your product on your behalf. So if you're interested by that, please reach out to me. But it's very focused, Black Beauty for Black Friday. And we hope to have more live with her down the line as well. So that's.
So just to make sure I'm clear, she'll be the one doing the live on behalf of and would it be like drop shipping or do the?
Yeah. So we'll get the orders and then we'll push the order back to you, to the merchant, say, okay, John purchased X, Jennifer purchased Y, and then the money will come, the flow with it once we get the confirmation. So, but those were multi-brand events. Those were multi-brand events through an influencer. Yeah.
Great. Bree, let us know if you didn't, if you had another follow-up question to that. Otherwise, I think we'll sign off for today. This was super awesome. Thank you so much, Nicholas. And again, if you're a Saltbox member, keep an eye out for more information on the live stream we're going to be hosting here. So coming soon.
And if anyone wants to sign up just with us as well, like not through the Saltbox events, or just like you want to go live for the holiday just by yourself, reach out to me. Happy to, we'll do a special thing for you. And I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's great. And actually the onboarding form that I shared it's good for either. So even if
it's good for either. Yeah, exactly.
Or not, you can click the link that I shared in the chat box.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.